Welcome back to Student of the Gun Radio. I want to thank Madison Rising for that awesome music that they gave us for the intro there. If you want to check them out, go to madisonrising.com. They are a patriotic rock band, and I believe that all of our listeners on Student of the Gun Radio will enjoy that. They've got a new album dropping at the beginning of November, and it might even be out, so go check them out. I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, Jared must be crazy. He thinks we're going to listen to his voice for the entire hour of Student of the Gun Radio. Well, I'm here to assure you that Dad is at his super secret remote location, and we did a collaboration show with our friends Zeke and Left Hand of Talking Lead this week. And before we get into the meat of the show, I just want to let you know that Talking Lead has a new iTunes feed. So if you listen to them and you want to continue listening to them, go to their iTunes page and click the subscribe button. Maybe leave them a little review if you're feeling generous or not so generous. I'm sure they won't mind either way. They're pretty cool dudes. I want to take a quick moment to thank our sponsors, Keltec Weapons of Cocoa, Florida, Crossbreed Holsters of Republic, Missouri, the Firearms Radio Network, of course, and then Excess Sights. Speaking of Excess Sights, they bring us our Good Guy Pack, and if you are a winner of the Good Guy Pack, I need you to email your information to me, which is Jared, Jarrad, at studentofthegun.com. And I need you to email me your address, your phone number, your shirt size, and your name, which I probably already know. We've had an influx of questions about deadly force situations recently, and I just want to let you guys know that we cover the how, when, and what now of a deadly force situation in great detail in our Armed Living DVD. So I want you to go pick one of those up at studentofthegungear.com. Now, in addition to the Armed Living DVD, if you've been paying attention to Student of the Gun, and shame on you if you haven't, we have relaunched the Pocket Lifesaver. We upgraded the tourniquet in it. It's now the RATS Rapid Action Tourniquet System. And we have added as a bonus the 18 Delta Combat Blood Soaker, which is pretty awesome if I do say so myself. But I've done something special for you guys that listen to the radio show. I've created a promo code for you guys. You can go get 10% off of the new PLS, the Pocket Lifesaver. All you need to go do is go to studentofthegungear.com and check out the Pocket Lifesaver. If you want to buy one, add it to your cart, and then in your cart you need to type in the promo code radio10. That's radio, RADIO 10. Now, as you guys know, we here at Student of the Gun like to give you as much as we possibly can for absolutely free. And if you go to studentofthegun.com, you'll see on the right-hand side there the newsletter sign-up form. And if you sign up for that, you will receive our weekly newsletter, which basically keeps you up to date with what's new at Student of the Gun. But in addition to being entered into the newsletter, which doesn't spam you, by the way, you are entered to win our giveaways, which we've had some pretty cool ones. We've given away a KSG, the Chris Carbine package. We've given away the Keltec PMR 30. We've got some actually pretty cool upcoming ones. So if you're not subscribed to the newsletter, go enter your name and your email. We've got an optic giveaway coming up and a flashlight, a tactical flashlight giveaway. So you guys want to be included in those. It's a pretty nice Christmas present for somebody that you love or for yourself. But anyway, back to my point. I just wanted to congratulate Jerry Mason on winning this month's Tactical Response free 2-day course. And Tactical Response has been very good to us. They've partnered, and through Student of the Gun, they're giving away a free 2-day course, which includes their fighting rifle, their fighting pistol, I believe their force-on-force class. But anyway, if you want to go to tacticalresponse.com, you can look at their class listings and their schedule and see what they offer and when they offer it. Now, don't forget, if you want to earn bonus entries to the giveaways, you can like us on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, YouTube. We've got 2 channels on there. We've got Student of the Gun TV and SOTG Homeroom, both with different videos, of course. Our Google+, Pinterest, Instagram, and Vimeo. I appreciate you guys sticking with me and listening to Jared's voice for an entire 5 minutes here. But I want to get into the meat of the show now, and I think you guys will really enjoy it. It's a pretty long show, so all you guys that have been writing in asking for a second hour of Student of the Gun Radio, We have given you 2 hours this week, and guess what? We've got one more week. I've got one more week of editing episodes, and then we'll be back to 2 hours every week. So I hope you're happy about that. I definitely am. I really enjoy talking to you guys, and I just want to thank you guys for listening to us. We really appreciate it. And here is the meat of the show.
So, without further ado, Paul and Jared Markle. How's it going, guys?
What's up, fellas?
It's going well.
Hey, it's going fantastic. Thanks for having us on. I know we've been kind of teasing the audiences, both yours and mine, for a while with this, but hey, we finally did it.
We made it happen.
It's going to happen. It is happening. The hell am I talking about?
What's going on right now? This is recorded live.
So we'll kind of roll into our side of the show, and I know y'all got some things that would kind of fit in with your side of the show too. But we'll start off with our Jackwagon Train of the Week.
Hoorah, Semper Fi, do or die, hold 'em high at 8th and I. It is time for the talking lead Jackwagon of the Week, so brace yourself, baby.
Our Jackwagon this week happens to be from Tennessee, and the sad thing is, this is a town I lived in when I was younger.
So you know some of these people?
And I know a lot of the people in this story, but it's all over the national news.
Well, I guess we could say names. But
Yeah, I'll say the names that are in there.
All right.
Long story short, there were some teenagers rolling a toilet
And
paper
of course,
rolling
you know,
house.
this time of year, a lot of that goes on.
Yeah, I used to do it. I mean, maybe. I thought about doing it. I don't know.
What were they rolling again?
Toilet paper, rolling people's houses.
Oh,
There are
okay.
trees and
I got you.
Yeah. No, not ecstasy.
Nobody's ever done that before.
Not rolling
no.
doobage.
So they're rolling, and
They might have been rolling
The
doobage,
place
too.
where I rolled these houses was the place where this happened, which is ironic enough.
So was this guy your principal too?
No, this guy's the new principal, but I know the name.
okay.
So, anyways, kids are rolling a house. 2 houses down, they're rolling their principal's house. 2 houses down, this idiot comes out with a shotgun and starts shooting at these kids, and hits.
It's not even his yard. They're
Not
rolling.
even his yard.
Not even close.
Was it an over under?
It doesn't say. It may have done the Biden thing.
Yeah.
He may have shot it in the air, and that was just the peppering afterwards.
No. That's coming up.
Yeah. but that actually it lodged in the kid's leg, so he had to been shoot directly at him.
He got peppered like in the foot, in the hip, and so I guess it's this little probably like bird shot or something that he had in it.
Yeah, but it was a 65-year-old man, Dale Bryant Ferris. He is our
So you're gonna call him out?
Jackwagon of the Week.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to call him out. Jackwagon man, he deserves to get called out. Because that's the thing that stinks. A lot of our jackwagons are the people that are anti-gunners, whether it's politicians or actors or media
Yeah.
people.
I mean, this is just a
But it
pure,
can also-
blatant,
Yeah.
irresponsible act on this guy's
Yeah,
part.
gun owners that do stupid stuff to make us look bad. So.
Kids doing their Halloween thing. This happens every time this year.
Yeah.
It's the egging, it's the TPing, it's the forking. You guys know what forking is?
I'm afraid to ask, but go ahead.
It's where they go and they get those plastic
Little
silverware
picnic forks.
Yeah, forks and spoons, and then they go and they just line your yard with it, just stab your yard with it, and you've got.
Have you heard of the mashed potatoes? I don't know what they call that one, but have you heard about it?
No, but it
haven't. What's
sounds
that one?
awesome.
Where you take the box of dry mashed potatoes and you sprinkle them all over their lawn. When it rains, it becomes mashed potatoes.
That's awesome. I mean,
love
that's
that.
horrible. Gosh.
I think Jared's
That's
going to
good.
get it contributing to the delinquency charge on him real soon.
Yeah, that's almost as good as the people who put the laundry detergent in the fountain downtown Nashville.
Oh, yeah. That was pretty cool.
That's awesome too.
Yeah, I don't care who you are. That's funny.
That's
Yeah,
funny.
so-
So there's our Jackwagon.
Dale
of the week.
Bryant Ferris, welcome to the Jackwagon Train. And then, in contrast, y'all got a segment, something about good guy or something?
Yeah, we got
well,
we
we-
got our good guy of the week.
What we do normally is we have a new one that we've been I don't know if you guys ever get someone slaps your hand via email about how not nice you are and you should be more respectful to people. But apparently some folks out there don't like it that we use the term vagination.
Or douche nozzle.
Douche nozzle's awesome. We use that.
We just decided to start only when it's appropriate. We've only given one so far, douche nozzle of the week award.
You really have
I
to
think that
be a douche to
that
earn
your
that one.
Jackwagon guy can get a dual award,
Yeah.
both the Jackwagon of the week and the official student of the gun douche nozzle of the week, because I believe that he will very soon be seeing the inside of a jail and or prison.
Yes.
Because you cannot point guns at people and just shoot them indiscriminately. Sorry, it doesn't work like that.
So tell us what happened.
Oh, well.
No, talk about the toilet paper thing.
Oh, okay, our guy. Okay, I thought you had a guy with a similar case. Before we get
into the good guy of the week, we've kind of got something that goes along with the story that you guys just told, and it's I'll let Dad go ahead and introduce it because I haven't actually got to read the entire story yet, and I don't want to ignorantly speak.
All right, yeah, thanks. We have
do it all the
yet
time.
Another example of what happens when you take the advice of idiots. When you take the advice of fools such as Joe Biden, who could get, I guess, a co-douche nozzle of the week award if we want, if we're feeling generous and giving that out. But a woman has been charged, a woman in Virginia, a Virginia mom, now it says, now here's the thing. Her daughter was being attacked. Okay. So she pulled out her legally carried gun and started shooting it into the air.
Okay.
Therein the problem lies. If you are genuinely, no kidding, in fear for your life, in fear for the life of another person, then you are genuinely justified if your bullets impact into those people. You cannot just launch bullets indiscriminately around the landscape.
Negligent discharge.
It's negligent.
Yeah.
And the irony of this is if she would have, stated, I was in fear for my daughter's life, my daughter's being attacked by multiple attackers, okay, that is justifiable deadly force. That's a disparity of force situation. If she would have put a bullet into those people and stopped them, she probably would be okay.
Wouldn't be tied up in court right now, would she?
Right. Well, and the thing is when you do warning shots, this is what they'll do is an opposing attorney is going to say, if you really thought you were in fear for your life or that of someone else, you would have fired your gun at them. So obviously by firing warning shots negligently, you were not in fear for your life based upon your own actions. See, people out there think that they're somehow being reasonable by doing that, or that warning shots are somehow not deadly force. Brothers and sisters, a warning shot is this. It is a negligent miss. And if you think that you're going to go to court and you're going to throw yourself on the mercy and say, I just fired warning shots, the opposing attorney is going to say, no, you just stink. You're a bad shot. You meant to murder them. You just missed. You do not get away with warning. That's one of the worst things you could possibly do. This is one of those situations where you say, well, what should she have done? Let him keep beating up her daughter? Well, no. But if she really legitimately thought my daughter is in fear of death or serious bodily harm, well, then she could have launched bullets into them. On the other hand, if you put yourself in a position where all you have is your empty hands and a gun, you're handicapping yourself because not every situation you're ever going to encounter is a deadly force shoot 'em up in situation. We talked about this before. What are you going to do with the annoying drunk in Applebee's that won't leave you alone? You're going to whip out your 6-shooter and gun him down there? I hope, Well, if you put yourself in a position where all you have is empty hands and a gun, what are you going to do? And, that's why we recommend other stuff. We recommend the pepper spray. And folks, I know pepper spray isn't perfect, but I can tell you this, the track record of people that I've sprayed Jared what? Oh, I've sprayed Jared. But in addition to that.
Such a loving father.
Yeah, it sucks.
In addition to that, I've sprayed in excess of 300 plus people. And I've seen big, strong, grown men fall to their knees and scream just because they couldn't believe that the pain was so bad. The pain goes away, obviously, but my point is this. And I tell somebody, would you rather go to court and spend $10,000 getting a defense attorney to get you off, or spend $20 for a can of Fox OC pepper spray? That $20 can of pepper spray is going to seem awful cheap when you're sitting in court with your attorney who's charging you by the hour to get you off on a justifiable use of force.
Here's another thing that this lady's problem is. Obviously, she's not had any training with her firearm to recognize, like you say, a life and death situation and what you do in those situations. So I guarantee you this lady panicked, and not having the proper training, didn't know really how to draw down on these people. I'd be curious to see if she's had any training whatsoever with her firearm.
Well, that's what people default to.
So she's taken the stupid advice of our vice president and firing warning shots. First thing comes to her mind is I should fire warning shots. Which, no, that's not what she should have done, obviously, and she's paying the price for it. And hasn't her daughter come up missing since this?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They jailed her, and so her daughter, has run away. So when the story was aired, or when the story was published, and the story's almost a week old now, but when the story was published, yeah, she had been arrested, and she's dealing with this. Her daughter had to go live with her grandmother, and she ran away. So she's all messed up now.
Or she got abducted. I mean, she came up missing, and who's to say these guys weren't trying to abduct her at the time that her mother scared them off?
We don't know. We don't know, but
yeah,
the worst thing, and you get these. Well, first of all, Joe Biden should be held liable. They should bring charges. Somebody should have the guts to bring charges against him.
Yeah.
That's. I mean,
talk about negligence.
Can you imagine a senator going out and your local state senator saying, "Hey, if you're ever scared, you just point the gun at the door and you shoot until they stop banging on your door." Really, Senator? Am I allowed to do that now? And I don't know, Jared, how many stories have we come up with since that idiot Biden's advice where people did that thing and then ended up being arrested and charged?
A lot. We covered
at least 3, maybe 4.
Yeah, where that dude ended up getting arrested for shooting his shotgun in the air, just like Joe Biden said, and it didn't work out
exactly to the T. And next thing he knows, he's locked up and he's on his way to jail.
He even cited Joe Biden's advice as his reason for doing that. So
awesome sauce.
Awesome sauce. That's awesome sauce that you said awesome sauce. But that story reminds me of the coolest sign I've seen in the last few weeks when it comes to gun rights and protecting your house, where it said, due to the rising cost of ammunition, warning shots will no longer be fired. I love that sign.
Amen.
Yeah, so let's hear your guys' good guy of the week on our converse to our jackwagon.
Okay.
All right, Jared, take it away.
Obviously, everybody that listens to us is a good guy, or most everybody. But this week's good guy of the week is Jeff Schneider, and he's got a question pertaining to the hassle of having to use a public restroom while carrying a firearm. He says, what do you do with your gun when you have to take a seat in a stall? He's heard of taking the gun out of the holster, but he's also heard of stuff like hiding the gun in your pants. He wants to be enlightened by Paul and the rest of the crew here on what they would do if they were carrying and had to sit down on a toilet seat.
And as you guys, we'll introduce you, your Talking Lead guys. In case you haven't been listening to us, we've been doing a Student of the Week, Question of the Week for basically the entire time we've been running the show. And Excess Sights, they're one of our TV show sponsors. They've been with us for a long time. And we talked to them about doing, kind of giving our people a little a special gift for the Student of the Week. And if you know anything about Excess Sights, they are the good guys. And they have black T-shirts that say Excess Sights in the front and across the back in big, bold white letters. It says good guy. Well, if your question is chosen as the good guy or the Student of the Week, what Excess Sights will do, they will send you a package with a T-shirt and a hat and stickers and patches and all kinds of cool stuff. So that's what our good guys of the week get. And it just helps people, feel like they're part of the show, and it encourages them to take a moment. And the reason that we chose this week is because this isn't the first person to either chuckle about it or make a comment on Facebook or something about what do I do. And guys, what happens when you have no frame of reference? You just start making it up as you go along, right?
Oh yeah.
And
we're good at that.
Yeah, what we but when it comes to guns, if you start making it up as you go along, things happen, and you are either embarrassed or in jail or what have you.
Costly mistakes.
Well, what I do is, quite frankly, if I go into a rest stop, I always look for the big ones, like the Loves or the Pilot stations or what have you on the highway, because usually you can pick out one of the big luxurious handicap stalls, and a lot of times those guys have the baby changing tables in there. That's inside the stall, and that's one of my favorite. That's one of my favorite things is if I'm in there and it's got that either the baby seat to put your toddler in while you're doing your business, or the baby changing table. You can put your Roscoe right there on the baby changing table.
Nice.
A lot of them are courteous, and they have those coat hooks that are right there. Either on the door or right next to you. The coat hook is always a good place to put it.
As long as you're not hooking your trigger guard on it.
Well, yeah, you don't want to hook your trigger on it. Be smart about it. But when it comes to handling guns or having to handle a gun in public in a non-tactical fashion, administratively, one of the things that I always make sure that I'm doing, especially if it's a semi-automatic pistol, which I'm almost always carrying, is I make sure that I'm indexing my trigger finger not just out of the trigger guard, because if that gun starts to slip or shift in your hand and you grasp it, even if your finger is technically, out of the trigger guard, you're going to come down onto that trigger. And the way I handle
it's a Neanderthal hand movement that you've been doing your whole life.
It's a lizard brain thing. Put your trigger finger up onto the ejection port. Actually put it up so that you can feel the ejection port of your pistol, whether it doesn't matter what it is, Glock, Car, 1911, whatever your favorite blaster is. Get your finger all the way up there, and that is a positive index point that you know for a fact, without even looking, you could do this in the dark, that your finger isn't going to negligently sneak into that trigger. Because let's face it, nobody wants to pop off a round in a stall in the Love's restroom off Highway 40.
Well, that's usually why I'm in there. I'm usually popping off some rounds.
Well, yeah, that's
different kind of rounds.
Getting light on my feet.
And the last thing is, don't be like how many federal marshals have left their guns in toilets over the years. It happens all the time, and unfortunately, funny, and I think it's funny because I'm a dude, but female agents seem to have this problem with leaving their guns in stalls. So, yeah, just make sure that you're not in a hurry to get out of there. Pat yourself down, make sure you got everything you
came in there with,
took in there with you when you go out.
Except the
yeah.
We've got a little input on this guy, too. Left Hand, you had some stuff that you do, right?
Yeah, I mean, it was ironic that you sent us this question kind of letting us know what was going on before the show. And when I got the email, I was actually taking care of some business at the local academy. I couldn't help but start giggling. But I was like, hey, I should take a picture of this, but I didn't. But what I did in this particular situation is, I think your guy had mentioned, tucking it in your pants between your legs right there. Mm-hmm. That's usually what I do. I mean, I carry paddle holster, so it's not, attached to my belt, so I can take my whole holster off. So I take the whole holster off, and I just, comfortably set it right in between my legs there while I'm doing my business and, continue on. I've never had any problems, and it's right there, and you're not going to forget it.
You're not going to forget it.
Don't ever put it behind you, on the seat behind you.
Or if you forget it, you'll remember really fast.
I don't know. I learned the hard way on that once, where I pulled a FBI or whatever, and I left it. But fortunately, somebody came right out after me. He's like, hey. But, yeah, I thought that was funny that you guys sent that.
My one question to Jeff Schneider, and I'm assuming he's a guy, is...
Weird name for a girl.
I'm just making sure that he's not sitting down to pee. If he's sitting down to pee, he doesn't deserve the right to have the gun.
Oh, come on now. Why you got to go
it's
there?
It's just naturally assumed that the man's doing the number two.
No, if it's a female, then fine, go for it. But, guys, hey.
Well, that's that,
But one of the things I do, yes, I do put it down in my boxers or whatever that's sitting there.
If I'm wearing boxers, that day.
Commando, you just put it in between the pant legs.
Yeah.
The toilet seat covers, and this is another issue where you got to remember it's there. If you do have a paddle holster or something that has like hooks on it, like my inside the waistband holster has two little clips.
Yeah.
And you can just clip it right on the little toilet paper seat cover dispenser thing.
Okay. I mean, if you've got a good memory and, you're aware of everything that's going around you, that's fine. But I don't want to lose sight of it. I want to have it on my person the whole time.
Hey, Zeke.
Yes.
If your inside the waistband holster is not a crossbreed holster, you need to fix yourself.
that is true.
Is that a sponsor?
That is true. Thanks for checking us there, Jared.
It looks just like a crossbreed holster. It was custom made by a friend of ours.
Shame on you.
I wouldn't mind teeing in that holster for just such an occasion if they want to send us one.
we know a guy.
We
know a guy at Crossbreed.
You tell him for this specific subject, I will T&E that. Remember, they're recording too, so.
Well, no, I'm recording. I'm sending them the copy.
Oh, okay. I thought they were recording also.
We're doing it the easy way.
Yeah.
I got you. Let Zeke do it.
I'm doing all the hard work.
That's what I do.
Well, let's go into the questions for these guys.
Okay, let's do it.
So we got a group of questions that we ask everybody that comes on the show. And we'll start with you, Paul, and then Jared, you answer right after. First one is, how did you originally get into firearms?
Good question. My maternal grandfather introduced me to a Daisy BB gun when I was probably 11 years old. We used to go to the cabin up on Lake Saginaw Bay in Michigan, and that's where I was. Because I was born in Detroit, and we lived in the city. So that's where I was allowed to use a BB gun, was up north of the cabin. And that was it. The die was cast, and from that moment forward, I was hooked.
It progressed.
Everything I could get about firearms, I started consuming, magazines and what have you. So I guess I've been a student of the gun since I was 11 years old, at least.
Do you remember what your first real firearm was? What was it?
Absolutely. On my 18th birthday, I got out of high school and I drove to the gun shop in Worcester, Ohio. I had probably $139 burning a hole in my pocket, and I bought a Ruger 1022 rifle.
Do you still have it?
Unfortunately, no. I don't have that particular gun. When I was a young broke Marine, I sold it for $100. But
well, you didn't lose too
I do
much.
have.
You still have what now?
Who said what now?
You said
No,
you,
I have two Ruger 1022s now. This is not the original one.
What about you, Jared?
Obviously, I got into guns.
Your mother got you into
because-
guns, right?
because of my father. I'm very lucky to have the father that I do, and have the opportunities that he has given me. And basically, I don't even remember how old I was. Probably 5 or 6, when he took me to the range for the first time. But that's how I got into that. And my first gun, I believe, I don't remember if I got the Glock before I got the AK. It was one of the two. It was
How
either a
old were
Glock
you?
for my first or the AK.
How old were you?
18,
18?
19.
Okay.
Now, see, that's the difference between having the dad that you have and having, our dads or Paul's dad. We had like hunting rifles, 1022s. You're like,
Yeah, when we
it was
were
either my
8.
Glock or my AK-47. I can't remember
Yeah.
which one. I was like, God.
But it wasn't until he was 18,
Well-
though. So.
Well, on the plus side or the downside, depending on how you look at it, I do not believe that he would give me anything that I didn't earn, and that teaches responsibility, obviously. But kids nowadays don't really understand that.
No.
I guess.
Yeah.
Well, it's
Good
like
point.
one thing I'm
Good
doing with
point.
my kids is they have BB guns now. And once actually it started before that with their little toy guns. If you're pointing them at people, and I mean, yeah, we let them go a little bit with the toy guns, but if they're getting over the top and they're not using the 4 rules that we've taught them, then okay, the BB gun's not going to come. Well, they did good with that. BB gun's there, same thing. You show us responsibility with this. Maybe when you're 8, 9 years old, we'll get you a 1022
You
or a
got
little
both your
22
eyes.
rifle. Yeah. So you can
If you got
shoot
both your eyes by the
Yeah,
time
if
you're
you
18.
both your eyes are still left. By the time you're
Yeah,
10, you'll
That's
get
the
your
measuring
22.
stick. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
they've got to show us responsibility growing with whatever, BB gun, toy gun, airsoft rifle, 22, and then kind of go from there. Of course, my daughter already, she wants an AR. She's 7.
Well, we've had a lot of our listeners ask at what age they should get their children involved with firearms.
Yeah, we've had that
And-
question, too.
Yeah, and our answer is the younger the better. Is just teach them with firearm safety to start, and then use common sense and go up to a BB gun or an air rifle, and then move up the
Yeah,
line.
every kid's level of maturity is different, so it's up to the parent
Absolutely.
to gauge, when they're ready for it.
Like me, there's no way
There's no right
I
answer
needed
for that.
my own gun until I was
You're
at
not
least-
even mature enough now.
Yeah, I was going to say till
Exactly.
I was like 36, and I'm 37 now. So
I mean, I'm actually taking his guns away from him today.
yes.
All right, tell us about your military law enforcement background.
I became a United States Marine in 1987. I was in the infantry. I was in the security forces battalion. I did several overseas tours. And I was in during the Great Desert Storm / Shield, or what we now know as the Desert War Part 1 or Gulf War Part 1.
Part 1, yeah.
We didn't know that it was going to be a Part 1 back then, but it's what it turned out to be.
Storm and Norman.
And and if you guys remember anything about history of the early 90s, is after that ended, they couldn't get people out of the military fast enough. They're like, okay, everybody needs to go. And I felt like at that moment in time, I had accomplished all I really was going to accomplish in the Marine Corps. So I got out, I used my GI Bill, and I went to the police academy. I paid for my own police academy and became a police officer in 91, 92, I completed the academy. But the double-edged sword of that everybody getting out of the military thing was, you go to take a civil service exam, and they had 3 positions open, and you had 487 people, taking a civil
Flooded
service
the
exam
market,
for 3 slots. And there was tons of guys just like me that were recently discharged military veterans and gone to the academy.
Mm-hmm.
They had that same idea as I did, strangely enough. And so I started taking part-time work. I worked for a lot of small municipalities in Ohio. And while I was doing that, I'd taken professional executive protection or bodyguard training, actually way back when I was young, when I was 19, 20 years old. And so I started working as a full-time bodyguard. And I actually had a really cool police chief in Ohio. He knew that there wasn't as much work as he could give me. So he let me keep my commission, and if I got a contract to go away and do bodyguard work, I would do it. And then when I would come back, I'd say, hey, I'm back in town. But he gave me that time off, and I really appreciate that even to this day. But I did the police thing. I've been a professional bodyguard, a U.S. Marine.
All right, so I want to hear a really cool bodyguard story.
Well, okay. I'm not going to give you any I caught Whitney Houston snorting
damn
off of a butt or something like that.
You can tell us that story off air.
Okay, I'm not going to give you that stuff. I learned a real valuable lesson about practicality when I was working for this one family. The 14-year-old daughter got a puppy, a Shih Tzu puppy, and almost immediately, within a week, they went on a Caribbean vacation, and when people that have bodyguards, when they go away on vacation, you don't just lock the house and leave. People have to be there. The bodyguard, security's still there on the family's property and what have you.
Right.
Well, one of our tasks was you need to take Bailey out to go potty once every 2 hours. Just so he can learn. Okay. I open the door and I'm like, come on out. And it's standing there looking at me like I'm the idiot, which I probably was, to him. And so I'm like, well, I don't have all day to stand here and wait for you to walk out. So I reached down, scoop him up, put him under my arm, and he peed all over me, all over the shirt. And I was on a 12-hour shift, and I'd been there for maybe an hour. So you know what I learned? Always keep a spare shirt.
Is that what came from that? Okay.
That's awesome.
Always keep a spare shirt.
Don't pick up an untrained dog. You're trying to get him to go to potty. That was a spare shirt, because I'm going to pick that sucker up and get him out the door.
If you guys know anything about purebred dogs, they pretty much breed all the intelligence right the smack out of them.
Yes.
And they, breeding with your cousins for 5 generations kind of does that to you. One of our guys actually went over to, and this is a year or 2 later, to take him out, and the dog had a seizure on him out there.
Oh.
And all he could think was, I'm going to be the guy who was there when the dog died. And that's not a conversation you want to have with the client.
Yeah.
But we ER'd him to the veterinarian, and he ended up surviving. So it worked out.
Did you tell the owner?
Oh, yeah. And they put him on special. Oh, you know how it is today. They put him on special puppy medication and, $500.
Now, be honest. Yeah. If he'd have died, would you guys have gone out and tried to find one that looked just like him or spray painted one?
I think there was some talk about getting a spare that looked exactly like it.
It was already in the works, wasn't it?
Yeah, teaching it its name,
Plan B.
You called it, and all that.
What about you, Jared? Any military law enforcement?
Yeah, the Salvation Army. No, actually, at this moment in time, I don't have any military experience or law enforcement experience. In the future,
vicariously through your father, though.
Yeah, I learned a lot from him.
Got some combat experience?
Yeah, I got some combat experience. I did mixed martial arts for a number of years, and I've had what did I have? Four professional fights, I think.
Cool.
Yep. Before your shoulder injury.
I didn't know that about you. Awesome.
Yeah. Now you know a little secret, I guess.
Did you have one of those cool wrestling names, or was it legit mixed martial arts Jared Markle?
It was actually, I didn't have a nickname.
Jared the Karate Chop Markle.
Did you just say the Karate Chop?
Yeah, the Karate Chop.
The Karate Chop. I'm taking suggestions for a nickname.
Okay, we're gonna come up with one.
We'll do a poll.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
All right, so listeners, That's one of our. Well, it's not going to be a contest, but
We'll throw a poll up on the website.
yeah,
What
we
should
want
Jared
you guys
Markle's
to chime in.
MMA
On
name be? Oh, this is going to be fun.
We had
his martial
we had
artist name.
a very long thread about my nickname because have you ever watched mixed martial arts of any sort?
Oh, yeah.
Like
Yeah.
the UFC or anything?
Oh,
I took
yeah.
jujitsu for a whole summer.
Okay. Do you know who Fedor Emelianenko is?
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah. Well, they call me Little Fedor because I fought like Fedor.
Well,
So
y'all favor a little too. Y'all gotta have this.
Well, it's not just when let me jump in here so it doesn't sound like Jared's tooting his own horn. It wasn't just Jared. It was all right. Jared's his fighting coach down here in Mississippi is a guy named John Dixon, and he's a martial arts Hall of Famer. And John Dixon, when he was fighting, he told all the assistant coaches, he goes he looks like a little Fedor, and so. All the upper belts and all the guys around the gym started calling Jared Fedor. Well, after Jared fought one of his fights, one of the guys, posted a video of it or something, and he put something about little Fedor. And you'd have thought he just like called the Pope Jewish or something. People were, how dare you make that? Who do you think you are to call yourself that? And it was. It was a respect thing that Jared's instructors and coaches and his fellow fighters had done. It wasn't anything. Jared didn't decide to call himself Little Fedor, but it was like the world was going to end because of that. How Facebook people are.
Those damn MMA guys are touchy.
Yeah.
Yeah. if any of you guys are listening, I just want to say os. That's our word.
Os.
Os.
Oof.
Is that kind of like hoorah?
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah,
Okay.
except for more manly.
That was Zeke who
Oos
did that.
is more manly than hoorah.
Bunch of ooses.
So the third question, and before I say it, I will have to say I'm having to snap myself out of this interview because I listened to y'all's show and I've got my headphones on. So as I'm listening to Paul talk, I forget that we're actually in the co-show. And I'm thinking I'm listening to the podcast. I'm like, oh, crap, we're actually still on here.
He's also drinking cider ale, too.
Yes, the Angry Orchard, which is awesome stuff. And Carol, I got Angry Orchard, Carol, if you're listening, because it is gluten-free, and I'm not doing the gluten thing.
Maybe that could be her cheat food this week.
Yeah,
There you go. It's cheat day, guys.
Oh, nice.
Cheat Day
So-
Wednesday.
So the third question, when it comes to pop culture, whether it's movies, a TV show, a video game, a song, a music video, a book, if it involves firearms, what's your favorite? What's your go-to?
Well, I'm gonna go. I've got a favorite game and a favorite movie. Have you guys ever seen Black Dynamite?
Mm-mm.
No.
Shame on
Is that
you.
one of those black exploitation films?
It's a pretty funny movie. It's kind
I'm
of like
writing it down. Is it on Netflix?
I'm
I
not
don't
sure.
think so. No.
Yeah, but anyway, look it up. You can. I think they have it on like iTunes or something.
It'll be on IMDb. You can look it up.
Yeah.
Find out.
Yeah.
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 But anyway, that's my favorite.
So tell me about the movie.
Firearm.
You got to tell us about the movie. What is it?
I don't want to spoil it for you.
Okay,
It's
well,
like a
The premise.
parody. It's like a Bruce Lee kind of parody movie.
It's a parody of the 1970s blaxploitation films. Only it was just made like 2 or 3 years ago.
Oh, okay. So it's a
Okay.
modern black sport.
Yeah, the
exploitation.
producers are like, we're going to make fun of the 1970s. And if you're old like me and you actually remember when those movies came out, or when,
Oh yeah.
when I was a little kid living in Detroit, they were doing blaxploitation movies for real. You know.
Well, if it's a
That's where they
parody,
filmed them, wasn't it? Is it
if it's a
Detroit?
parody of that, they've got a lot to live up to with "I'm Gonna Get You, Sucker." That's
Oh,
like-
yeah,
that's
yeah.
one of the best
It's-
parodies of that stuff.
we were laughing. We were watching that in the team room up at Tactical Response because I made a comment. And James
We watched it when we were there too.
dude. You know.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I made a comment about, and James is like, "Oh," he said something about Black Dynamite, and Jared and I he's like, "Stop. Here's what you're gonna do. Go back to the team room." He said, "I don't care what is in the DVR. You just pull it out and tell them that you're watching Black Dynamite because that is your homework assignment for the night." So we did, and we laughed so hard that I think we missed 30% of the movie over our laughter.
Over the laughter. Yeah.
Well, we had a similar instance when we went to Fighting Pistol because Left Hand here had never seen Super Troopers.
Holy
Oh,
cow!
really?
What?
So
No, never saw
so everybody in the class.
Well, they kept making references to that movie the day before, and I was like, "What?
Glittering hand.
What?"
Yeah.
And James, pretty much like he did you, he's like, "All right, here's your homework assignment, dude."
So we said, Meow, when you get back, you're
Meow.
going to have to watch this movie, Meow.
Meow.
And we did. We made him sit down and watch the whole thing.
Smile dimbly bimbly.
Jump from limb to limb. Oh.
So you said you had a game, too.
Yeah, what's that?
Oh, Call of Duty, obviously.
Yes, sweet.
Yeah, I haven't really got to play it lately, as much as I'd like, but that's my favorite.
Man,
game.
we got on last. I got to tell you this. We got on last night, and we played Modern Warfare 2. We put it in, and they played this game. It's called what is it, Michael Myers? Yeah, you ever heard of that?
Nope.
No.
So what you do is you've got one person that's designated the Michael Myers, and then everybody else is basically you go and hide on the map. And Michael Myers, it's like hide and seek, and he goes, and you can only use knives. And the people that Michael Myers is hunting for the first like 4 minutes, they can't stab or all they can do is run away from you if he finds you. And all Michael Myers can do is stab you. And then
Is Michael Myers go slow?
no,
Does he
everybody.
walk really slow?
Everybody's got their speed builds on, so they're the lightweight and all that. So it's funny to watch, especially if you're like one of the first ones killed, because you can do those overhead cams and watching them chase each other because they got marathon on, and it's just it's hilarious to watch them run around the map. But that's the first time I'd ever done that. I guess in honor of Halloween, a big bunch of us have been playing that. But I had to throw that in there. So
See,
Call of Duty, I need your gamer name, dude. We need to hook up.
Well, our gamer name is Zachary's. We'll give it to you off air, otherwise we're
Yeah.
gonna have 5,000 things. But
Yeah.
we it's funny you mentioned that, and I know there are a lot of people in our industry that like to poo-poo that and say how it's childish. But dude, let me tell you what, I worked with a cadre of 50 professional small arms and tactics instructors when I was working for the military a couple of years ago, and at least 50% of the guys were Call of Duty guys.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and they're like, oh, that's for posers, and that's for like, actually not. No,
It's for fun, is what it's for.
the dudes that all the dudes that I worked with they were either Marines or SF or SEALs or pararescue guys. I had one buddy of mine who was a pararescue guy, and this dude had 3 combat jumps behind enemy lines to rescue pilots, and he was going on at night, fighting against 9-year-olds.
And the 9-year-olds were kicking his ass, I'm sure. Using their modded controllers. What's wrong with him?
And I bet you he was letting those little 9-year-olds get to him, too.
Well, it's funny. He was telling me how his wife would castigate him about using foul language and come in the other room. I get the same thing. I get you have to close the door to the family room so I can't hear you saying foul language. But we are a family friendly show, so we don't use foul language on this show.
Yeah, we are, too. If we let them slip, we bleep them at least.
Yeah.
I found a bleep on Audacity that sounds like a turd dropping in the toilet. So
Nice.
In honor of our gun question, where you put your gun
there
and
you
you
go.
go take a deuce.
there you go. So,
Drop it in.
Paul, what's your go-to movie, TV show that involves guns or game or book or whatever? And since we said book, you're not allowed to say Student of the Gun.
Oh, well,
Oh, wait, TV show, Student of the Gun.
yeah, there you go.
Rewind.
Well, you don't want to be cliche, but I used to sit around the recruiting office when I was in the Marine Corps, and I was working and watch Full Metal Jacket and just laugh.
Oh, yeah.
And it amazes me, the kids, if you haven't seen Full Metal Jacket, you need to do it. You need to sit down, be quiet, and watch that movie. It's actually 2 movies, so it's a bonus. You get the first one and then the second one. Oh,
John Wayne, is that you?
yeah. Now, I guess my other one would be Boondock Saints. Boondock Saints is
man.
one of my
Oh, that's
all-time
good.
favorites.
1 and 2 or just 1?
2 was a
one.
flop.
It was
Yeah,
still
it's
good, though.
It was horrible.
Oh.
It was
The
Boondock
director
Saints,
should
though.
be jailed.
When they announced it, I almost had a gun-gasm. And then all of a sudden it comes out. I went the day it opened up, and halfway through it, I was like, you've got to be bleeping me.
Yeah.
This is crazy.
Oh, yeah.
It was pretty bad.
It's sad.
But,
Rest in peace.
our boy Norman Reedus
Yeah, from Walking
from
Dead.
Walking Dead, which has started again.
Mhm.
So we're on the third episode of season 4.
Yeah, something like that.
Did it get good again, or are they still
Well,
being
what
dumb?
they're building up, each episode is getting more and more intense and epic. So, the first one they're kind of laying the story out where they've been for the last whatever and character building, I guess.
Yeah.
Ooh, look at you throwing out the technical terms.
Yeah. I watched Talking Dead afterward.
Yeah.
So I'm stealing all that from them. That's what they said. That's what they said. But yeah, I mean, it's getting more and more intense. So yeah, you got to.
We're still trying to get them to let us come on Talking Dead as Talking Lead. So we're working.
I mean, if they're going to let
I mean,
Marilyn
Talking Dead,
Manson on
Why
there
not? Oh,
and
my
that
Lord.
Osborne kid on there, they got to let us on there.
We want to go on there just to say, hey, look, if you're going to put a aim point sight on a rifle and use it, make sure it's not backwards.
Yeah. And if you're going to use our name,
Yeah.
if you're going to spoof off our name, at least have some
Yeah,
show.
no kidding.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
good Lord. We
At least some
Did you guys
royalties.
Did you guys
Exactly.
see that? Was it last year, Jared, when the guy had the EOTech mounted backwards on his AR?
Oh
Yeah, that's what we were talking
Hit the
about.
aim point, yeah.
No, it was an EOTech.
Was it an
They had
That's
an
how you
EOTech
could tell
too?
because it was like shaped like an L.
I think
You
that was
know?
a different
Yeah.
show.
No, this
They've done
is
it.
actually a real,
There's-
actual, genuine police officer, and it was one of those suspect at large things, and they were taking the
Oh,
news.
this was a real
pictures.
show.
I know what
He was-
you're talking about.
Yeah, he was leaning over the hood of a police car, and
Oh my gosh.
the EOTech was on the rifle backwards.
No wonder he couldn't hit anything.
And he's like, man, this thing
I
sights,
can't
they said
see the
they're great,
dot."
but I don't know.
I can't see the dot.
All I can see is this red reflection back in my face.
Can't do that.
All right, so our next question is, has there been or is there a gun in your collection that maybe even just a little bit of you is ashamed to say that you own or have owned?
Me, no, the answer is absolutely no. I'm an American. I don't need to make excuses.
Okay.
I second that motion.
On your bucket list of guns, what is next? What's the next gun you can't wait to get that gun?
Well, for me, I'm going to go first on this one. Is that all right?
Send it.
Sure,
Yeah.
go for it.
Yeah, do it, Jared.
I don't know. He
for
might
me,
spray you with pepper spray.
Don't do that. I won't be able to talk for like an hour. But anyway, I haven't even got to shoot this yet, and Dad has one, which is messed up. But I want the Century Arms M92 pistol. I want one of those.
I've seen
And
it.
yeah, they're apparently it's pretty cool, from what I've heard.
I'll school you.
Like
Well,
me.
hey, for those of you who apparently didn't get our newsletter this week, shame on you. But you know that Century Arms is bringing in all these Serbian AKs, the PAPs,
Right.
and they've been bringing in the long guns for a while. Well, they have a pistol version, and I've shot pistol caliber ARs and AKs before, and they're cool and they're neat to pose with pictures, for pictures and show your buddies. But from a practical standpoint, not usually so much, especially the AKs. The 7.62 by 39 AK pistols are, as you can imagine, quite a handful.
Yeah.
And when Century came out with this new modification on it, they put a Krinkov muzzle brake on it, and because usually they're just a straight crown muzzle, and they put a Krinkov brake on the front of it, and I was like, ooh, I'm liking that.
Oh wait, I have seen these. Yes.
Then they put
Yes.
what's that?
I said I have seen.
Yes.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah. When you said that.
Yeah, and then
Krinkov.
they put that new what are they calling it? The SB47 stabilizing brace that the ATF has approved as
6
a
hour.
stabilizing. Yeah.
Yeah. The 6.
So,
hour
well,
version.
SIG's got theirs on the ARs, and Century is putting them on AKs now.
Okay.
And
Cool.
I took that gun out to the range last week and shot about 250 rounds through it. I shot it until I could feel the heat coming through the wooden handguards.
So you loved it.
Yeah. That Krinkov brake on there it's it.
So that
it
brace actually works. I mean, it's actually viable,
Yeah.
sturdy. It doesn't slide around and move.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't slide around. It's not sloppy or anything. And
That's been my
'cause
only
I was kind of-
hesitation about those because I've
when I first saw it, I was like, I don't know
gimmick.
about that.
Yeah. That's what I
But
was
no, I'm
thinking.
telling you guys, and the base gun is around $600 some, and then another $100 plus for the brake and the stabilizer. But
Yeah.
for an $800 investment, it's
Not bad.
It actually turns an AK pistol into something practical that you could actually shoot and enjoy shooting, as opposed to just posing for pictures.
Very cool.
Tell them what fits on it.
Oh yeah, absolutely right. The one thing that I had, the one thing I didn't really like about it was the sights. Not that they weren't functional, but that they were just it was kind of tough to pick up. And the sight configuration is built around the original AK sight configuration. So what I was able to do after my first range session was take one of the XS sights tritium inserts and remove the original drum and post and replace it with the XS sights version. So now it's got an XS sights front sight that is very easy to pick up and see under all light conditions. So yes.
So you've already got this weapon.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he does, but I don't.
Oh, okay, so that's the one you. I got you. Very cool.
I'm a little jealous. I guess I could say that.
Well, I'm kind of going to be adding that one to mine. I think also I'm going to check it out. That's cool.
Yeah, well, you bet. I would, if I was you, I would get on the list quick because once the cat gets out of the bag, they're going to be selling them out quick.
Yeah, so just go to Century Arms.
Yep, Century Arms.
Gotcha. I'll check that one out. All right, Paul. So, what's your bucket list gun? Right now today, if you could get it, what would it be?
Dude, I'm telling you, I'm sitting here. And,
First thing came to your mind. What was it?
Well, I was actually thinking about another Barrett rifle, but
okay, which one?
I'd like to get my hands back on an M82A1.
So you had one.
Well, I did a T&E on one for a magazine article about 7 years ago.
Because that's our next question is...
Believe it or not, they don't just let you keep those.
They don't? You have to actually return them?
No, they kind of they want you to send them back.
Oh, man, we got a couple coming too, so we got to give our T&Es back, man.
What's that?
Yeah, I'm thinking they're going to want those back or a check for $10,000.
Yeah, well, I think we got that alternative. So that was our next question was, is there a gun in your collection that if you could get it back, what would it be? So
truthfully, it would probably be my first 1022.
You get that 1022 back?
Yeah.
What about you, Jared?
I am going to hold on to mine tight. I'm not letting him go. So
he hasn't had to give one up yet.
Nope.
Does he get never had one that you?
Does he get hand-me-downs, Paul?
Hey, Jared, where's my custom J-frame?
Oh. What custom J-frame?
Yeah, I got a nice custom J-frame with XS Big Dot, on...
it's actually on my ankle right now.
It's on his ankle right now, yeah.
Yeah.
So that answers the hand-me-down question.
And that could also lead into something else we haven't done in a while. EDC check.
There we go.
What you got? Go with you first, Paul. Actually, let's go with Jared. You already told us your ankle carry. What you got on right now?
All right, I crossbreed holster with my Glock in it. I got a G23 with a 9mm version barrel, XS sights on top, obviously. I got a stainless steel pin that has a fire starting kit in it. It's pretty cool. I got a knife. What else I got? Flashlight. Let me check my pockets here. I got a Cold Steel on right now. Cold Steel. I'm not sure which one it is, but it's black and it's cool. So
there you go.
What else do I got? I got my.
Jared got a new Cold Steel knife out of the package that I got from Cold Steel.
How'd that happen?
I think that was addressed to Jared and Paul.
We were recording the radio show a couple weeks ago, and UPS pulled up, and he's like, "What is that?" And I opened the box, and he's like, "Ooh, yeah,
yeah,
so.
That's going with me, right?"
Yeah, I did.
Y'all got any hookups with someone with a cool karambit? I want to get a karambit so bad.
Cold Steel has a nice karambit.
Cold Steel probably has one, and Blackhawk probably still makes one.
The Fox one is the one
you want
I want.
A fixed plate?
No, the Fox one that has it's got like a little tooth on it where when you pull it out of your pocket, it deploys automatically. It's actually a pretty slick little knife, but it's also about $500-600.
Yeah, I saw one. I was watching a video from Cold Steel the other day, and they had like a knife that had a huge blade on it, but it did the same thing.
Yeah,
it was pretty cool, and it was sharp. Yeah. They were cutting everything with it.
Yep.
What are you packing, Paul?
Generally, I've got the Car P45 on or a Glock 19, both obviously in crossbreed holsters. and I'll keep a spare 380 secreted on my body in some form or fashion, and a flashlight and a pocket lifesaver kit, and obviously a knife.
You're not talking about the candy when you say pocket lifesaver kit.
No, I'm talking about the one that like can help stop you from dying while you're waiting for the ambulance to show up.
Just want to make sure.
Yeah, I forgot about. I have one too, but I forgot about it. So sorry,
Jared. Tell them what's new and cool about the pocket lifesavers.
Oh, we actually just
Pocket
got a new.
lifesavers.
Yeah, have you guys seen that? We sell a thing called a pocket lifesaver.
Mm-mm.
All right, we've got a tourniquet in there. There's some gauze, a roll of duct tape, and then an NPA, nasopharyngeal airway. Have you ever heard of that?
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. Yeah, those cover the big three: major blood loss, the airway, and then the like the punctured lung and stuff like that. So
Right.
yeah, I couldn't remember the technical term. Quick, help me out.
Pneumothorax.
Pneumothorax. Yeah.
Have you guys been through a TCCC class, or are you one of the EMTs?
My degree is sports medicine and biology, and I was a clinical director for a general practice clinic for
That wasn't his question.
5 years.
That wasn't a question.
No, he was asking our
Okay.
medical experience.
No, he
Well, I
said, have
gotcha.
you been through a training course?
No, I have.
He doesn't want your
you know-
resume.
Boys, don't fight.
Yes, I have been through a combat
Look
medic
at the
training
big brain
class.
on Brad.
Well, the reason that, and I'm kind of surprised you guys don't know about this because we took a whole bunch of grief over it. But when I joined the Marine Corps in '87, back then during the Cold War era, the U.S. military, whether it's Army, Navy, Marines, whatever, they were not thinking that they were going to win the next war with ground troops. In their minds, in the 70s and 80s, they were going to win the next war with ICBM missiles and nuclear-powered submarines and stuff like that. So there wasn't a lot of hard focus on how do we train the war fighter. It's like, yeah, we'll train them, but we're not going to spend a lot of extra money on these guys. And it's nothing like it is today. And our medical training was essentially the Red Cross Family First Aid approved stuff, and we carried a semi-worthless kit. It was generic. It was just there for the medic. When the corpsman came up, he would have something else to use on you because he knew where your little pouch was. And today, that's completely different. When we deploy troops overseas to combat areas, whether they're Navy or Air Force or Marine Corps or Army, what have you, they all go through the Tactical Combat Casualty Care Program. And that's one of the programs that was in the school, the Expeditionary Combat Skills School that I taught at. And I taught, that was one of the things that I taught was TCCC. And, we're teaching 18, 19-year-old kids to stopgap life-threatening injuries on themselves, on their buddies, while they're waiting for the medical professionals to show up, because that's what we teach these kids. There's no more of this old Vietnam-era movie stuff where you just lay on the ground holding your legs screaming corpsman or medic or whatever. They expect you they expect, and that's where everybody learned how to do that was by watching movies, But they expect you today that if you're bleeding, you're expected to start doing something about it. None of this just wait for someone else to fix you.
Yeah.
It's self-aid, buddy aid, professional aid. Well, my point is this is, I'm thinking if we can teach, an 18 or a 19-year-old military private E1, if we can teach them to do this, why in the world can't a person who is qualified for a CCW permit or who keeps a gun at home and has a family and a career, why can't they learn this?
Right.
It's not some kind of voodoo magic that's passed down through, special forces operator training. This is something that, an 18-year-old kid who's been in the Navy or the Army or whatever for, 6 months can learn. You can learn it too. And the pushback we got is we have a program through Student of the Gun University called Beyond the Band-Aid. And it essentially teaches you how to stopgap the three critical injuries that can make you die before an ambulance has the opportunity to show up and start, fixing you.
Let me get some outside input here for a second. Zeke, you said you took medical training and everything, right?
Yes.
You gave us your resume.
Yeah.
How long, if you get your artery cut, a major artery, say your femoral artery, how long do you have to survive?
I think it should be like 2 or 3 minutes.
2 minutes.
Left hand got it. There you go.
2 to 3 minutes.
It's
Yeah, and so there
It's a
now
standard
everybody that's
Trivial
listening
Pursuit
knows
question.
that Dad and I don't just make things up. It's actually true.
Yes.
But anyway, finish your story. Dad.
Well, no. So what we did, and we've been through the training. Jared's been through the training, and just about everybody who's been through TCCC has a kit. They've got what the operators call a blowout kit or a ventilated operator kit or whatever you want to call it. But it's a relatively large kit that you keep on your armor. You keep it on a pack. You keep it somewhere. Well, after the Boston bombing, I had to take a hard look at what we're doing, whether it's practical or not, because. And if you talk to guys that, they're like, oh, yeah, dude, I got an awesome, I got a trauma kit and it's in the trunk of my car. It's in my pickup truck. It's, hanging on the back of the door in my house.
Mhm.
Like, well, that's great. But you're in, wherever you're out in public and you're at a parade with your family and something goes bang. And now your wife is laying at your feet and there's massive amounts of blood pumping out of her leg.
right.
And your awesome kit is in a truck 380 yards away in a parking garage. That kit doesn't do you any good. That's like I've got a gun in a safe at home and I'm in a parking lot and I'm being robbed. That gun in the safe at home doesn't really help me. So what we set out to do was to come up with a kit that was small enough to keep either in a back pocket, a cargo pocket, something, or, if you're a lady, in your purse. And it wouldn't be obtrusive. It wouldn't be something that's so big or so bulky that you wouldn't carry it. It's an everyday carry kit.
Mhm.
And we had to, we addressed the big three. Okay, major bleeding. What can you do? I mean, if a guy's got a bullet through his aorta, sorry, bro, you're out. I can't help you. But if he's got a major bleed in a limb, I can help him. If he's unconscious and we have to maintain an airway, people are like, well, you got to maintain an airway. Yes, you do. Well, how do you maintain an airway on an unconscious patient if you're working on his leg and it's just you? Well, you put a freaking airway in him. That's what you do.
Yep.
And one of the things that's funny is people they laugh or they chuckle about the mini roll of duct tape. Well, what they don't know is that every ventilated operator kit, every blowout kit that's issued to troops going overseas and has been for years and years has mini rolls of duct tape. And all our guys, the troopers, they use it all the time. And people here in the States don't, they're like, oh, well, what do you think you're doing, going to combat? Well, bleeding to death on the side of a road from a rollover car crash in Arkansas and getting blown up by an IED in Afghanistan, if your leg is severed, your body doesn't care where on
same
planet Earth
Doesn't
you
matter
are.
how it got severed.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, bleeding to death is bleeding to death. And people, they'll carry guns and they're like, oh, yeah, I got this blaster and I got this and it's got hydroshocks in it and all that, and you bring up a medical kit and they're like, what do you think you are? Some kind of a doctor or, you trying to play doctor? And I look at them like, are you trying to play policeman? That's my God-given right to carry a gun. I'm like, okay, knucklehead. So do you not realize that good guys can and do bleed out as well? What are you going to do if it's one of your loved ones? And it doesn't have to be shooting. It could be like, high-speed car crashes often result, and as a policeman, I can tell you, in partial or complete amputations of limbs.
Yeah.
And you say, well, the ambulance is on its way. Okay, fantastic. And the ambulance will be here in 7 minutes. Your
If you're
lower,
lucky.
your brachial artery is severed. Go. What do go?
Stick my
In
finger
3
in it.
minutes, you're going to be bled to irreversible shock, and it doesn't matter if they show up with a 55-gallon drum of whole blood. You're never going to come back. So what do? We have everyday carry guns, and the chances of you needing a medical kit, hopefully, where if you don't live in the in the jungle or in Atlanta, hopefully you won't need a gun as often as you'll need a medical kit.
That's what I was going to say. You probably have more of a chance. Well, you definitely have more of a chance to need your medical kit than you ever would your gun.
He said jungle
Well,
in
and-
Atlanta.
And the last thing I'm going to throw out there, and this is something that was put in a little coin that was put into my pocket by Jaeger. He said he started carrying medical gear when he was a cop because he would come up on these crashes and there would be people standing around and they'd run up and they're like, oh, I'm a nurse. Can I help? Or I'm a doctor. Can I help? And he'd say, yeah, you can help. Well, they never had anything with them.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So he started carrying a bag just full of stuff.
Hand
And
it to
he-
him and say, here, go at it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He would throw it to him and say, here, fix them.
Brilliant.
It is.
And
I'm
we-
not the
we
expert, but somebody else is here.
we took a lot of crap in the beginning about the tourniquet that we were using in the kit, which was the TK4, and it's not the best tourniquet, but for the size of we wanted to put something in there that you would actually carry and put in your pocket.
Y'all use
And
the latex tourniquets? Is that what y'all are putting in there?
No.
Yeah, the one we've got right now was recommended to me by a good friend of mine who's a Army Special Forces team sergeant, and it's called the RATS, the Rapid Action Tourniquet System, or RATS, and it's a flexible thing, and you have to take a look at it on the website, but it is. You can roll it up and put it in a kit, and you can actually carry it with you every day, all the time. And that's what we were looking for. So we just actually upgraded the kit. We removed the TK4s, and we include this RATS tourniquet in there now. And we think it's going to be a little bit better for our customers.
Did you see the question that we got?
The what?
Did we get a question?
Yeah, we got a question about it. It said, were there any studies done on this particular tourniquet? And I'll not say my thoughts, but you can go ahead and say yours.
Well, I don't. I mean, I know that there are plenty of tourniquet studies out there, and as far as
on this particular tourniquet.
On this particular one, yeah, I don't believe so. It's actually a pretty new item. It's only been out a couple of years. But I have the person who recommended it to me is a Special Forces team sergeant who's done somewhere in the neighborhood of 10 to 12 combat deployments in the last 10 years, and who has ventilated people and made them go bye-bye, and also been present when people were hooked up and fixed. So I respect that person's opinion very highly.
Sounds like it comes from a pretty reputable R&D source.
I would say so.
EDC, what do you got?
Me? Yeah, I'll count it. I got my little my Smith & Wesson 1947 police revolver. That's just because I was messing with it before we started the show.
You got your knife on?
I do. I've got my SOG Trident knife. Yeah. I don't have the rape whistle knife. Not tonight.
Do you still have it?
I do still have it.
Okay.
I still use it on a regular basis. Not the rape whistle, but the knife.
In the event that you think you're going to get raped, go ahead and just pee on yourself and you'll be fine.
Yeah, duh.
I don't know.
Or puke on yourself too. That'll work.
Just go ahead and drop a deuce. That'll probably deter somebody.
What you got left hand?
No pun intended. Deterred somebody. I got the Glock 22 on the hip with Black Hawk Serpa paddle holster. Got the Glock 23 on the ankle. No Walther PPS. I've switched it out with the Glock 23. And it's a Black Hawk. Didn't we determine that was a Black Hawk ankle holster also? And I've got...
No, Galco.
It's a Galco?
Yeah, it was a Galco.
It was a Galco holster. Okay. And we're not sponsored by any of those people, so...
No.
Free plugs for those guys.
Hint, wink, wink.
If somebody wants to hook me up with a crossbreed, I'd be happy to sport that. But my knife of choice today is the Tool Logic.
Here we go.
With the flashlight
and
fire starter
and
of course the ever famous rape whistle.
All right.
Stop.
Zeke, stop it.
Stop. Get your hands away from that.
That's funny that everybody's talking about fire starters. Did you see what we're all excited. I'm all excited about starting fires.
Yeah.
Did you see what we did that we put up on Facebook today?
No. What'd you put up?
You started.
Oh, well, Cold Steel, in addition to the package they've got these very super lightweight, inexpensive, what they call the Rescue Edge knives. And they come with a knife and a matching striker, emergency fire starter, flint striker.
Cool, yeah.
And, from experience, I know that you can't just take one of those things and scrape it onto a log and start an emergency fire. People see movies where they take a fire starter and they just scrape it onto some sticks and boom, there's a fire. It doesn't work like that. And so I kind of was racking my brain. I'm like, okay, well, if, in a situation, what could you use to catch those little embers? And a lot of times it's really tough to find something out in the wild. Well, we were putting hurricane kits together. And my daughter, she said, well, we need to put the following items into the hurricane kits. And, she said, we need to put a hairband in there. And she goes, we need to put feminine items and, maxi pads and stuff. And I was like, I wonder if maxi pads will burn. So
if they're flammable.
I went out and I used this new fire starter knife, this Survival Edge from Cold Steel, and flicked the embers into the maxi pad, and dude, it works like magic.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so we serve a dual purpose.
Feminine products help a lot in survival because a really good
Stop bleeding
is the tampon, especially with a nosebleed. And we used to have those in our training kits, and it was hilarious because like the football players would get a bloody nose, and we'd make them walk around with a tampon in their nose all up and down the sideline.
I'd bleed to death before that happened.
I've had plenty of tampons shoved up my nose.
Yep.
Oh gosh,
it works. It works fast.
Is that what they use in the MMA?
I'm not too feminine to say it. I'm comfortable with my sexuality. Apparently, left hand isn't.
Keep it PG.
No, it's just the thought of what they're used for. Anyway.
Y'all wanted to talk about this blue on blue mistaken identity shooting?
Yeah.
Let's
talk about, speak it and it shall happen. About a month or so ago, I wrote an article for officer.com, and it was republished on the Tactical Wire, basically about blue on blue. And blue on blue means police officers shooting police officers.
It's not Smurf on Smurf crime?
No, it's not Smurf on Smurf crime. I know you might think that. But or even an Avatar for you young hipsters. But, this has been going on for a long time, for decades and decades. And, when I was in the academy, they would talk about it. If you're ever involved in an off-duty shooting, or if you ever have to, do this or that, what you need to do is this and that and other. And what happens, just a couple of months ago, we had a situation where an off-duty police officer stopped a crime in progress. And the patrolmen show up. They come running up on scene. He's just finished stopping a felon from doing bad things. He's standing there with his gun in his hand. They pull their guns out and they scream, "Drop it, drop it, drop it," as they're shooting him. Boom, 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 boom. And he dies. Well, this happens every year, 6 months, what have you. And when it happens, it seems like we always have the same response. They bring everybody in and they try and train the target, as in they train the police officer to, okay, if you're off duty, this is what you need to do. Hold your badge in a special way or do this. And what the kind of the epiphany that I had is one of the reasons I believe that we're having situations that devolve to that point is when we go through live fire training, when law enforcement officers go through live fire training, especially shoot houses, they'll go through these, shoot house scenarios. And they give them a briefing. They're like, okay, it's a, in progress bank robbery, or it's a whatever, doesn't matter. And they walk into the shoot house and there'll be these colored targets, right? They look like men or women or what have you. And the target either has a gun in its hand or it doesn't. Mm-hmm. And sometimes they'll tape like a little badge overlay on it or something, and hopefully the officers will see that. But when you run these scenarios, what happens is they go through them, and the officer, they shoot everybody who's holding a gun, and everybody who's not holding a gun doesn't get shot. And then you get to the end, and they pat you on the head, and they say, "You're a good little cop, and good job." And, my question to the audience in the article was, the only difference in these shoot house scenarios as to which target gets shot and which target doesn't get shot is the presence of a firearm. There's no intent. What did we talk about earlier on the show? Opportunity, ability, and intent. And you cannot start launching bullets until you check all three blocks. Well, and people are like, "Oh, but that's bullcrap, Paul, because these cops have all been through use of force training." Yeah, I understand. They sat in the classroom, they took the test. Great. But when they actually have guns in their hands and they're out on the range, what are they shooting? They're shooting images of people holding guns, people that are not dressed like them. They're not wearing polyester uniforms and with shiny badges. They're wearing street clothes. And the only reason that, what the indicator to them is that it's either a good guy or not a good guy is the presence of a gun. And so anyway, I put that forth as kind of like food for thought. And then we had this thing in California where the kid, is holding a toy AK-47 and they shoot him and he's dead now. And, people are like, "Well, it looked like it was real. It looked like it was real." I'm like, okay, I got you. So if they thought it was a real gun, which they may have, and I'll grant them that, but did they shoot him because he was demonstrating intent to do bodily harm, or was it because he was holding on to a gun? And when I say about these, these off-duty officers and undercover officers being shot, they're not shot because the boys in blue roll up in cruisers and the detective turns around in plain clothes and draws down on the uniform guys. They're not ridiculous, stupid. I don't know what word I'm allowed to use to say PG, but they're not dumb. these detectives aren't pointing their guns at the arriving deputies. They're standing there with a gun in their hand, and they're getting shot. Well, we talked about that. We did a little video. We talked about it on the radio, and people were just like, "Oh, why are you cop bashing?" Like, I'm not cop bashing. What I'm saying is, I'm asking the question. I'm putting it out there. Do we need to address the way we're training cops? Are we literally training cops to equate people with guns in their hands as de facto bad guys?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Good point.
Well,
yeah.
We did that show, and guess what just happened? Hallandale Beach detective dodges friendly fire from Broward County sheriffs. There was an in-progress suspect on the loose call. There was a detective on his way, heard what was going on. He's like, I'm really close. I can get in on this. So he goes, like cops do, to the scene, sound of gunfire, to the scene of the crime. He's there. Broward County uniform guys show up. They see him in street clothes holding a gun. They open fire on him. He didn't draw down on them. He didn't demonstrate intent to hurt them. But what did they do? They see a person who's not dressed like they are holding a gun, and they shoot him.
Right.
And this just came in today. And so, you like me or hate me if you want, write all the letters you want about how full of crap I am. But we need, as a nation, public servants are supposed to be that. They're supposed to be public servants. You're not supposed to be a subservient peasant class that has a ruling class over you, that decides whether you live or die based upon your possession of a firearm. That's not the way it's supposed to work. And we just had the thing in New York where the guy was acting erratically, so they opened fire on him and shot 2 innocent women standing on the street.
Mm-hmm.
Guy didn't even have a gun, but they're like, well, he was behaving in an erratic manner. Well, so in New York, if you behave erratically, you get executed? What are you telling me here?
That's normal behavior in New York, isn't it?
Yeah, no kidding. I thought erratic behavior is what they did up there.
That's
Well, what do you have against cops?
Yeah, I know.
Well, yeah,
You just-
we've taken a lot of crap over that throughout all of our social media. We've been getting actually both good and bad feedback. But
I think if
most
people
of the
would
bad
take the
feedback
time
is
to-
from people that read the title of our podcast.
Yeah.
And
I was going to say, if
didn't
people would
didn't
take the
actually
time
listen.
to listen to what your message is and not just come to conclusions based on what your topic is,
That's one thing
they'd be a lot better off.
we found in the internet world of entertainment, whether it's YouTube or podcasts or blogs, that a lot of people just read the title. For instance, we had a YouTube video we launched today. It said Glock 19 versus CZ97 versus SIG 1911 Nightmare. The whole that had nothing to do with the video, but one of the comments instantly was Glock 19. It's like, dude, you didn't even watch the video. It was like a comedy sketch kind of competition thing, and those were the guns used. And you could tell he didn't watch it because his instant comment was Glock 19. So they're just judging based off the titles.
It's the keyboard warriors.
Now, we've got a couple collab things coming up that are going to be pretty big, both on our website and on your website.
Did you say collab?
Collaboration. I think that's like the
Wow.
new youth thing that they say. Collabs.
Is that what the hipsters are saying now?
I think so. I think it's collab instead of collaboration.
We leave it up to Zeke to keep us hip and cool.
Yeah. Left hand keeps it up with the video gamers. I keep up with the hipsters. On our site, we've launched a forums. We announced it last week. And on those forums is an actual student of the gun forum section.
That's
Dude,
right.
I totally forgot that we had done that. Thank you for bringing that up.
And oh, by the way, Paul, in case you didn't know,
Paul got quiet. He's like, we did? He just texted Jared going, did you know
how
about
hard
this?
it was to not announce it yet? We're trying to wait and do it the right way and announce everything at one time. And
Gotcha.
it's been hard.
Yeah.
So there you go, guys. Bam. That just happened.
bam.
It did.
Well, we can edit that if we need to.
No, it's going on.
No. Let's.
No,
This
we're
is what we
releasing
do
it with the radio show. Yeah.
Hey, hang on one second. One of my dogs just came in. He's panting over microphones.
Oh, I thought that was left hand.
It was left hand. I'm just giving him excuse. He heard about the forums. He heard about the student of the gun forums. He's like,
He was so excited that he started panting.
exactly.
Give him a paper bag.
I'm so
Lord.
excited about our collab.
So if you go to Talking Lead, so if you go to talkingled.com and click on the forum section, you'll see the Talking Lead forums, and you'll also see the Student of the Gun forums, where Jared is a almighty, whatever it is you're called, editor, moderator. Yeah, that. I know.
That's
I pulled
too big
down
of a
the
word. We got to call it a mod.
mod. There we go. It's a collab with you being the mod.
There we go. I like that.
Not the same thing as a modded controller.
And then you can talk about what's going to happen on your site, collab wise.
Yes, I was just getting to that. After I was going to thank you for putting a forum up for us. I
Sure.
appreciate it.
No problem.
It's really going to take a workload off of me answering all these questions. A lot of questions that we get can be answered by basically the community of people.
Absolutely.
But anyway, so on our site, we're going to have Talking Lead is going to be posting their radio shows on our blog. So they're going to be able to find it on studentofthegun.com/SOTG-blog as well. And we're pretty excited about that.
Yeah, that's going to be awesome too.
see-
Oh, you got to read their bio. It's pretty cool.
Are you telling me to read our bio?
Yeah, you should. Did you write it?
No.
Then you should read it.
Okay.
Maybe we should.
Did you add some stuff to it?
I was thinking about it, but I don't want to make that public. So
He's an intergalactically certified EMT.
yeah,
Now that's my jab at we would get these long letters from volunteer EMT bravos telling us how totally reckless and unsafe it was to allow citizens to buy that kind of medical gear and how they had no business using it.
Are you serious?
Oh no, I am, and that they were a volunteer EMT Bravo, and and I was like, you mean the same guys that? So you think it's cool for them to like ventilate people with their Roscoes, but they shouldn't try and stop someone from bleeding to death because they're not a professional EMT like you
Or themselves.
So-
yeah.
Yeah, so I started calling them
Oh my god.
intergalactically certified. 'Cause everybody wants. They were.
have you read our article called "The Truth About Posers"?
I got about halfway through it, and I can't remember. I think I was at work, and I had to quit. But
Ties
yes.
in with our video, I bet. Don't claim to be something you're not.
Basically,
Yeah. Well, it's because on the internet now, if you register a domain name and you figure out how to use WordPerfect or now WordPress, you are now a de facto firearms expert.
Well, you guys have any other topics or anything you want to go over?
how much wood would a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck Norris?
I don't know, but
He's a lone wolf
I
McQuaid.
think I need some woodchuck cider.
There you go.
Hey,
I got
Angry
some, I got some
Orchard.
Shinerbach waiting for me.
I wonder if I say Angry Orchard enough, if they'll send me some free ones.
Keep hoping that. I keep talking about that almond company. What's that almond company? Diamond.
Blue Diamond.
Blue Diamond almonds.
Yes. The
That's our favorite
smokehouse or the
travel food. We
wasabi
keep mentioning,
ones.
and I'm hoping that a gift pack's going to show up. But they're in California, and I don't think our show's allowed to be broadcast in California.
Yeah.
I think they stop it at the
banned.
border.
You know what's crazy? One of our biggest states for downloads is California. All the like gun banning states, we have huge followings in.
It's like the parents who try to keep and protect their kids from overly protect them from guns and whatnot. They're the ones that turn out to be.
They're the ones that find them. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, that's the way those states are.
It's the same for us, which is weird.
Because they don't get it there, so they have to listen to it to enjoy it.
It
Well,
just makes
all
them want it
It's
more.
kind of like we have an enormous following in Egypt right now.
We do get stuff from our English speaking overseas affiliates.
Mhm.
We've gotten stuff from Ireland, England, Australia. Where else? You're foreign overseas, but definitely from Australia,
Barbados, or something
Ireland,
like that.
yeah. I'm sorry, I forgot your name, but we got a big fan down in the Dominican Republic who listens to us. So, hey, Dominican Republic, send us some cigars. We love cigars.
The DR. Yeah.
Down in the DR.
Speaking of cigars, I know y'all like cigars. I'm glad you said that because I had that written down on a piece of paper that's not in this room. Have you ever tried Padron cigars, like their anniversary series?
Oh yeah, the
Oh,
Padron Anniversario.
oh my
Sario.
gosh. Those things are amazing. The one that's 1967 or 64 or something like that, that's my favorite.
You know what we should do, Jared? Jared, what is our favorite day at SHOT Show? The first day.
Sunday. You know why?
Sunday.
Because
Sunday.
it's the only day of the year that I get to relax.
The Sunday
No,
before or the
not
Sunday
really.
after?
We go over to the Casa Fuente.
Casa Fuente and the Forum Shops right across, in Caesar's Palace Forum Shops. Are you guys familiar with Casa Fuente?
Yeah, I've seen it. I've never been in it, though.
Oh,
It's awesome.
I'm familiar with Caesars and their
all right.
topless
Like
pool
Little Caesar's
area.
Pizza?
all right, now hush up now. I'm trying to be serious, you hippies.
Sorry. Okay.
Big boy talk here.
Yeah, big boy talk here. Okay, that's become Jared, and for like the last 2-3 years at least, Jared, running. We SHOT Show, once SHOT Show starts, it's craziness. It's just nonstop. So we usually get into town a day or two early. Actually, SHOT Out's on Tuesday, so we'll get in Sunday morning generally. And Sunday afternoon we go over to Casa Fuente and what's mojitos? Yes,
Mojitos.
you go back.
I love mojitos.
Yes, you pick yourself out one of many, many fine Fuente cigars, and you can smoke them right there in the shop. They have a cafe. They have very, very lovely ladies that will bring you all the mojitos you would like to drink, and just sit there and
Those are
just
the best.
decompress. So I think we need to make that a date. It needs to be a date.
Yes, I'm in.
We need to do a big boy radio hour at the Casa Fuente.
We'll do a little powwow at
I
Casa
agree.
Fuente.
Oh,
Special
speaking
delivery.
of
a nice invitation.
Tennessee boys, I hate to ADD moment here, you guys, but
Squirrel.
do you guys know Derek St. Holmes from Ted Nugent? You know who Derek St. Holmes is, right?
Yeah,
The
guitar
original
player.
singer and rhythm guitar player
Yeah.
for Ted Nugent.
Sure.
I got nothing.
Okay, well, all right, you need to educate yourself there, left hand.
Yeah.
But anyway, Derek Holmes is a gun guy.
Nice.
He likes guns. He carries a gun. Heck, I met him in the Galco booth at NRA 2 years ago. I've seen him in concert, and anyway, he's a real good dude, and he lives in Nashville,
Oh, we need to
or
get a
just
hold
outside
of him.
of Nashville.
You still have you stay in touch with him?
Yeah, I got his number.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
need
that
to
would be cool. Yeah.
get him our contact info. We'll definitely.
Yeah, no
do it.
kidding. I mean, if you're relatively neighbors there, you're close. Yeah, it's always cool to meet somebody who's like, a famous musician that also is a cool gun guy.
Oh yeah.
Oh, and Jared, if and when we run into Aaron Lewis this year, we're going to actually not
dude.
be idiots, and we're going to say hello to him. We were at the Hard Rock Hotel and the Center Bar there, and and we were talking to Tim Sylvia, giant Tim
Oh
Sylvia.
wow.
We're talking to
was
Tim
his
He's a big
Sylvia
gun guy too.
and his guy, and we were talking about Aaron Lewis and about how he was a hunter and a pro gun guy, and we didn't even realize it. He was like 10 feet away from us
Just
at
right
the bar.
there.
Yeah, it wasn't until somebody published pictures of the party
You're like,
on
hey, wait a
Facebook
minute.
later, and we're like, holy crap, he was standing.
That is awesome.
And we're like, boy, don't we feel dumb?
That's the guy I shoved out of the way to get those nuts.
What?
They were in a bar.
Oh, wow.
That's staying in the show. That is staying in. Don't forget, we have the new contest starting this week because we lost all of our iTunes feedback and comments.
We're starting fresh.
We're starting
clean
fresh.
slate. So we need you guys to
we had
get us
almost-
back up where we were.
We had almost 200. We're now down to 13. So once we get to 100,
So
we're going to
every-
give a giveaway.
Every C note we hit, every 100 spot on 100, 200, 300, 400, all the way up to 500, and the gifts are going to be progressive as well. We're going to do drawings,
Yep.
and if you
Do some
start
giveaways.
if you're in the first 100, you get to be in each drawing.
Yep. So make sure you get on there, leave a comment. Unless you're going to leave a negative comment, just forget it.
Yeah.
If it's 3 stars or below, you're not entered in the contest.
You
Oh, yeah, I got
20 comments, I have 20 entries, right?
it. Yes, as long as there are 20 different names on
Yeah.
20 different accounts.
One account, one entry.
And
Or
then,
drawing.
so
Or
we,
100.
don't forget to go check out the forums, www.talkingled.com. Forums with us and the new Student of the Gun forums also.
Check
are
out our
on there.
Facebook page. Check out our Twitter. What else we got? What's that other thing?
Oh, Instagram.
Instagram.
Yep.
I don't know.
If you guys don't have a Google Plus, you need to get one.
We have a Google Plus.
Okay, well then they need to go there too.
Yes, go to
Okay.
Google Plus, even though I
Google.
never check it. Unless YouTube tells us that something's on there, and then I'll check it. That's about it.
You don't have to check it; it checks itself.
Okay, nice.
Gotcha.
We'll take it. And we'd like to thank our sponsors, Clutch Defense, clutchdefense.com. Go there, use the code TalkingLead68.
US Elite Gear, us-elitegear.com for all your gear needs.
Your stuff for your kit.
Your kit.
And you also
Great
get a
kit,
discount
guys.
there if you enter the code Talking Lead. So Talking Lead 68 at Clutch Defense, Talking Lead at US Elite Gear.
And then Lone Wolf, you
Mhm.
get a discount there. Lone Wolf Distributors, just Talking Lead, all one word.
10% discount across the board.
Yeah, we'd like to thank ICE Training, ICEtraining.us.
Also, All or Nothing Tattoo Studio. That's allornothingtattoo.com and their very gun-friendly merchandise store, strangleholdmerch.com.
Ergo Grips at ergogrips.net. HG Press, Holder and Green Professional Real Estate Services for all your Middle Tennessee real estate needs. Call HG Press at 1-800-615-1840, extension 2222.
Jared, Paul, tell everybody how they can find you guys, plugs, all that stuff.
You can find us everywhere. Okay, you can find us on iTunes. We got studentofthegun.com is our hub for everything. You can get to everything from studentofthegun.com. But in addition to that, we've got Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, YouTube. We've got 2 YouTube channels, Student Gun TV and SOTG Homeroom. And we've got Google Plus, Pinterest, Instagram, and
No,
Vimeo.
you're on Pinterest.
Pinterest is important for SEO.
Is it really?
Yes, sir.
I thought Pinterest was just like for
Crochet
recipes
kits.
and crochet and stuff.
No, sir.
Oh, I will be on
Do
Pinterest
your
tonight.
homework. Shame on you.
All right, I'll take it from here, Jared. Thank you very much. Do not forget that we are doing a Tactical Response 2-day training gear giveaway. All you have to do is go to studentofthegun.com and sign up for our regular newsletter. We don't spam you. We don't sell your address. But what we will do is tell you what is new, cool, and going on with Student of the Gun. In addition to that, everyone who is an active subscriber to the Student of the Gun newsletter is eligible for all of our contests and giveaways. We've given away the KSG 12-gauge shotgun from Keltec. We've given away the Chris Carbine package. We've given away handguns. We've given away holsters, knives, all that good stuff. And right now, every month, well, October, November, and December, we are giving away a free 2-day tuition to any Tactical Response 2-day course. And all you have to do is sign up and you're eligible. We are also coming very soon before Christmas going to be doing an optics giveaway and a flashlight, tactical flashlight giveaway. So you want to make sure that you are signed up and registered for that. We also want to make sure we thank our good friends down in Cocoa, Florida, Keltec Firearms. Keltec Firearms makes some really cool, unique, and innovative guns.
Yes,
If
they
you
do.
want something from Keltec, get on the list because they are popular and people want them.
2000 rock. I love those.
That's right. So check that all out. And don't forget, watch Student of the Gun Television. Student of the Gun TV is on Dish Network Channel 266, Sunday nights at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. And also, if you're on the East Coast, you can check us out on a live TV outdoors. That's on the Shentel HD Cable Network. And we are on Wednesday nights and Saturday nights. So check your local listings for that. So where are you going to go? You're going to go to studentofthegun.com. Now,
SOT.
and what do we say? You're a beginner once, but you should be a student for life.
And you know what we say?
Paul, Jared.
Do y'all know? Do y'all listen? Please don't make us cry.
No.
Oh, dadgummit.
I do listen, but not
No.
the end.
We'd like to thank Paul and Jared for being on the show today. So, guys, appreciate you being on.
Thank you for collaborating. With us.
Collabing.
Thank you for letting us be on your
I can
show.
say multi-syllable words. I have the ability. Multisyllabic.
The rain in Spain falls mainly into plain.
Really? Did that just happen?
That's what I
just
hear.
happened.
Multiple syllables. Yeah.
And as always, left hand, keep your loved ones close.
And keep your firearms closer.